What is going on, world? Thank you for clicking on the video, and today we are going to be back at it again working on the Big Red. So as you know, I have this thing for sale because I am upgrading to the 250 ES, but currently this is not running right, so I'm not going to sell this in a non-running condition, which that's what it is at this point. It won't even fire up. I'll show you what it does. Turn the gas on. Give it some choke. That is no good. I'm gonna check to make sure we're getting good spark really quick, and then from there, I guess I'll pull the carburetor back out just to be sure. Oh! All right. So right there, that is not a good sign. We have no gap in the spark plug. So I'm sure you guys heard that loud popping noise, and that is what's called detonation. This thing is just not firing correctly, so now I think we have a timing issue, and I believe the gap is actually closing from the explosion of gases inside the cylinder. I do not think we have any rod or piston issues, so I'm gonna go ahead and look into the timing mechanism on this, but for now we're just gonna set this gap again and put it back in the engine. Man, that was actually perfect first try. Woo! That's a strong spark we're getting. Alright, so spark is definitely not the issue.
The spark is definitely not the issue.
It has to be the timing. I just checked the valves not too long ago and they both seem to be in spec. So that leaves only one thing really. Filter's fine. I guarantee the carburetor's fine. I've cleaned it 3 times at this point because the pilot got clogged again, but it should still fire up like if the pilot got clogged again like it was before. So I never really worried about the tension on the cam chain because it wasn't making any noise, but I don't know, maybe the valves were just drowning out the chain noise. It's hard for me to tell, but these screws are still in good condition. Maybe no one's been in here before. Got it. Oh yeah. Little sticky. Haha. And we are in. Okay. A little crusty. Oh, the springs are still good. And that's what I thought would be the issue. I am going to go ahead and pull the tank off just so I have a little bit better access to everything. This one's kind of a pain to get to. Now we're gonna go ahead and pull this inspection cover so we can get this thing set at top dead center and see if the valves are loose. So I have the intake and exhaust inspection cover off. I set the engine to top dead center, and there's a little bit of play in each valve, so we are on the right stroke. There's a little notch in there that you align with the T on the flywheel, and both the intake and exhaust valve call for a clearance of 0.002 inches, so that's what we're gonna set it to. But the intake valve definitely feels a bit tight, so we'll see what happens.
A few moments later.
So the intake valve was extremely tight. I set it to the 0.002, so hopefully that made a difference. I'm sure it did. I could barely get it to even flinch with trying to move it with my hand, so you can't see it in there, but I have the mark perfectly on the T for top dead center. And sure enough, this magnet is lined up as well. So that's a good inclination that our cam chain didn't jump a tooth or anything. So I think before we go any farther, we should try to fire it up after adjusting that valve and see if we made a difference. Well, it's the next day, same outfit, so you probably can't tell. But last night I went to the auto parts store and picked up a new plug. This is the BR9ESL. None of the plugs that I have fit. This one has like a smaller thread on it. But I went ahead and threw that plug in there, and sure enough, it fired right up. It has a great spark. I kept trying to clean up that old plug, and man, I don't know how old that plug is, but it seems to be running good now. I'll go ahead and fire it up for you guys. And boom, we're back to idling. Now, a lot of you are saying that that is cam chain noise rather than valve noise. It sounds like the valves to me, but it wouldn't make sense because they're perfectly in spec. So there's a pretty simple way to adjust the cam chain tension on these things. You see this rubber boot right here, you pull that off, you loosen one of the nuts while the engine is running, and it has an automatic adjuster in there that if it is not stuck, should do the trick. If not, we're gonna have to try to get something down in there and wiggle it around because these things lock up after years and years. But hopefully we'll get lucky. Let's go ahead and give it a shot. Man, that was frustrating. I got this thing completely silent for about 10 seconds. And then after that, it went back to normal no matter what I tried. I actually took this top nut off, which you can access the tensioner. There's a specific bolt that you can get that actually threads down into that tensioner, and you can wiggle it up and down, but it seemed to be free because as soon as you crack this loose, it's bouncing up and down in there, so I just kept trying to work at it, and I could not get it to go silent again. It is a lot quieter than it was. I don't know how well that will pick up on camera, but I might go ahead and try to find that specific bolt to thread down in there and try it again later. There was a little bit of red death in there. Who knows how long it's been, if ever, since this has been cracked open. So I just sprayed some lubricant in there and let it drain out and tried to clean it up the best that I could. So I'm going to throw the CDI cover back on there and I'll fire it up and we'll see if you guys can hear a difference. It is much quieter in person. Running really good.
They call that? Farm boy stunting.
Yeah. How does that make you feel?
Inferior.
Oh! Big red! Like life!
Oh man.
Have you ridden this yet?
Yeah, for like 2 seconds.
Yeah. Oh, that was it. That was it. Redneck three-wheeler stunts. Oh shit.
Well, that was about my second time riding the three-wheeler, right? I
Yeah.
think that was only the second time I've ridden it.
That was it. What was the first time? Where were you at? You were just riding.
That was over in the other woods, just like up and down a path for like 2 seconds on the live stream.
Yeah, you're right. On
Yeah,
the live
that was
stream.
the first time I ridden it, and then this was like the second. I want one. I think it's fun for tactical stuff.
Technical.
Oh, technical, yeah. Sorry, I hit my head. I definitely think it's fun for technical stuff. Going slow, obviously, and all
Mud
the fun
bogging.
stuff. Yeah, I wouldn't say it's a blast riding fast. I just feel like it's really a lot of vibrations and unstable.
Yes.
Which it's just like it's fun, but it's just not like something I'd want. I'd rather be on a dirt bike going fast than on this going fast.
Yep.
But yeah, it's a lot of fun. Run's good.
Yeah, got her back up and going, guys. Ended up only being what, Lex? The spark plug.
The spark plug. After taking off the carburetor like 6 times.
That, and I messed with the timing, and I checked the valves, and
Wow.
ended up just being the spark plug. But we needed to do that stuff anyways, so.
Good deal.
Yeah, guys, so tomorrow we're actually going to be picking up another three-wheeler. It's the 250 ES that I've been waiting for. It's the big brother to this, and I'm not quite sure what to do. I want to have 2. I know that. I want to have one to somebody else to ride, you know, Alexis, per se. And, you know, whoever wants to come over and play around. But I think I do want to sell this and get the 250 SX, which is shaft drive as well, but the suspension is a lot better, and it's a little bit more sporty trail oriented rather than the 250 ES is mainly just like utility and a little bit of trail. So I think that would be the perfect combo, the 250 SX and the 250 ES, and we might say goodbye to the 200 ES. I love this thing, don't get me wrong, it's a great machine, but the lack of rear suspension and the fact that these front forks don't even function right now. I mean, I could go through and rebuild them, but it's like really hard to find parts, and a lot of the times things just melt inside these forks. Like literally over the years they just completely rust and turn into goop and then seize shut, which is exactly what happened. But you can do a different fork swap. Like I thought about doing the 200M forks, but at the end of the day, I can't do that in the rear. I would have to weld in a shock mount, and it's just not going to work out. So I think the best move is just to get rid of this, pick up a 250SX, and then have the 250ES, and then call it quits.
She's been good.
Yeah, I really enjoyed this, but we'll see what money we can get out of it. I almost had it sold the other day, but I wanted to hang on to it until we got the 250ES. So this thing will be for sale. Yeah, let me know what you think about that.
There'll still be three-wheeler content.
Oh yeah, for sure. 250ES video coming very soon for my three-wheeler fans. There's a lot out there.
Yeah. I never ridden a four-wheeler, so this is the closest thing I've gotten, and it's a lot of fun. I like it.
It's fun. Good times on the old Big Ready.
Oh, Big Ready.
Clifford, man.
Definitely, like, would way rather be on this in, like, a creek than a dirt bike. This just sounds miserable.
Yeah, and like I was saying earlier, this thing gets into spots that even four-wheelers can't. Like having this narrow front end, it allows you to manipulate this thing in ways that you just couldn't do on a four-wheeler.
Oh, Tanner! That literally feels like a phone is vibrating.